The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
Captain Carnage, Dr. Tweed, The Mask, Miss Linda and Adrian Street, the Human Bomb Shelter, Jake the Snake, ask Mad Dog DeCurso if it's real or fake. Golden Greek told us the giant goon Dickoff, El Toro, the Grunt Brothers too. The Wild Samoans got something crazy going. They're gonna be going after you. Wrestling tonight. Everything is bigger than life. Wrestling tonight. Rock and roll and wrestling tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Tonight. I am your host, Mad Dog Butch, and normally I introduce Brace Beamer about this time, but he will not be here tonight, so I will be flying solo. And our guest this week is someone that we've been trying to get on the show for a while now, and he is a longtime referee and all-around good guy, and it is none other than Randy Shilling. Okay, welcome, Randy. Thank you very much for being on the show. Before I get into it, where are you located right now?
Right now, I am in Lucedale, Mississippi.
Okay. How long have you been there now?
Probably about 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm on a tour.
All right, excellent.
Now, before that, I was in Van Cleve for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And that's where I still work at.
Okay. How far away is that from Van Cleve?
About 40 miles.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the beginning of, I just wanted to mention this, our theme song, I haven't really talked about it, but it's from a movie that I know that you like, and I believe that you told me to watch this movie. For some reason, when I was a kid, I would see it at the video store, and one of my other wrestling buddies told me that hold on. One of my other wrestling buddies told me that it stunk, and he was like saying that they clothesline people and their heads popped off and all this stuff. So I never bothered to watch it, but
Right.
And then recently I got a DVD that had like Hell Comes to Frogtown, that, and I Like to Hurt People on it. So I had seen I Like to Hurt People a long time ago. But anyway, if anybody is wondering, because I have had people ask where that theme song came from, it comes from Grunt, the wrestling movie. And Randy, thank you for introducing me to that movie, or telling me that it's not as bad as I was led to believe.
No, I mean, it is meant to be bad, I think. I think it's one of those early mockumentaries that, I don't know, just, it influenced me. We had some good times. Me and my buddies just sitting around, watching that on, I think it was like on HBO.
So it's by the same people that made I Like to Hurt People, correct? Or no?
I'm not sure. We watched that a little time after. I like the show, but there's just something about Grunt that was great.
Yeah.
Because it was like fantasy, and it was just cool stuff. I've seen some of that stuff. The French manager does a shirt, lifts her shirt up spot. And I believe
Oh, that's right.
Goldust and Marlena did the same spot that was from that movie.
They did, and before that, I had forgot about that, but I did think about the spot with Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage at, I think it was the first SummerSlam when she took the skirt off. Not quite,
Oh yeah.
not quite
Yes,
as
sir.
PG-13 or rated R, but when I saw that, that's the spot that I thought of. But
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
uh, so let's get into your background. As I said, Brace Beamer isn't here. He was very disappointed. Like me, we don't. Neither of us really impress easy, to borrow a phrase from Jesse the Body Ventura, but he speaks. He always speaks very, very highly of you. This all kind of came at the last minute. Unfortunately, I didn't get to advertise it for as long as I wanted, and he wasn't able to make it. But I just wanted to say that he is definitely a fan of you and your refereeing style.
I, thank you. I'm a fan of his also.
All right. So what would you say are some of your first memories of professional wrestling?
Going way back, I think before the WWE era, there was played a lot of Georgia Championship Wrestling up here. So, man, first real storyline I remember is Ted DiBiase and Tommy Rich, and you know, they did this Mr. R gimmick with Brad Armstrong.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
Um,
Anyway, I loved it. My name was Randy, so I had the old ski mask on, wrestling people.
uh, so that was DiBiase and Tommy Rich then, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, DiBiase and Tommy Rich.
okay.
And then when he got unmasked, it wasn't Tommy Rich, it was Brad Armstrong.
Okay.
Tommy shows up, Brad Armstrong rolls up DiBiase for the 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you if you, because you and I are probably from the same era. That was probably just maybe a little bit before I started watching it. Um, but so you missed out on like the Chic era and the big time
Yes,
wrestling
sir.
era. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
same with
I
me.
was
But
basically introduced with Hulk Hogan, like a lot of people was.
oh, okay.
Especially with MTV, it
Right.
was kind of new right then. And it was, I was at that age. So, 14, 15. And, you know, that was a big part of it. I think it was like two different worlds, though, between Southern wrestling and what they
Def-
were doing up north.
oh yeah, definitely. Like I I did see a little bit of Georgia, but in the beginning I didn't really know the difference. Kids at school were talking about, the WWF guys, and so
Right.
I'd be watching Georgia Championship Wrestling. I think at one point even Mid South was on, and I'd be watching
Right.
that, and I'd be like, wait a minute, none of these guys that they're talking about are on here. So yeah, I had gone kind of back and forth, but you're right though. It was like almost a totally different world for anybody that missed out on that era. It was totally different. So I mean, you did mention those guys, but were those guys like some of your early favorites?
Um, from Georgia Championship Wrestling with Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer,
That's right. I got that
Tommy
shirt on right
Rich. Yep, awesome.
now. Right that.
Yeah, those two basically stand out the most.
Okay. What about all together? Not just Georgia, but like the early days of professional wrestling.
Of the NWA.
NWA, WWF, any of those guys, who would you
Oh
say
man,
were like
wrestling
some of
wise,
your favorite?
definitely Hulk Hogan on top. Magnum TA,
Yeah.
Sting. I guess I marked out for all the baby faces.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But in the same aspect, I did like the bad guys. I mean, I like the Midnight Express.
Oh, they're like my
I thought
favorites of all time.
the Freebirds were cool just because they, you believed it. These guys were devious and evil. Four Horsemen, I just never bought really into Ric Flair. I don't know if it was that thing that Hulk Hogan's the world champion or, so I got to look down on this guy. I don't know. He's not the real champ.
See, I was kind of the opposite. Even though I was never a huge Ric Flair fan either, but it didn't take me long to. I mean, Don't get me wrong. I liked Hulk Hogan. I liked his matches, but it didn't take me long to want to see him get beat and lose the belt. Like I mean, it wasn't long after I started watching it where I was like a huge Roddy Piper fan. I was a huge fan of Jesse Ventura. So I remember like one of my first house shows. So I probably started watching it in '84, right around the Hulkamania era, right after he beat the Iron Sheik too. And by the time I went to my first house show in '85, I mean I was still rooting for some of the baby faces. I remember like Ricky Steamboat was against Don Morocco.
Oh yeah.
And I was rooting for Steamboat, and Junkyard Dog was against Terry Funk. And at the time, I was rooting for Junkyard Dog. Wouldn't be the same today. I mean, just because Terry Funk is, my all-time top five now, but I didn't understand him at that point. I knew that he had been in NWA, but he just seemed like an old. I mean, he didn't get in the shape that he was at WCW when he was in WWF at that point. So I was like, why is this guy, winning all the time? It didn't make sense to me. But the main event was Ventura against Tito Santana, and Tito Santana got booed out of the building. And so I was like, yes, Detroit wrestling fans are awesome. But
yes, we are.
I've changed my opinion since then, but at the time I was very happy with that. Although I will say Ventura at the time, I don't know if he was doing this. I don't think he was doing it as a rib on Tito or anything, but in all of his interviews leading up to it, he was talking about how Detroit was his town and people love him in Detroit and all this, right. And that turned out to be legitimate. But anyway,
it doesn't
I went off on a little. Yeah, so I'm just kind of surprised that I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of surprised that you were such a big Hulk Hogan fan. I don't know why, but it just seems like people. I mean, I know there's people that just still like loved him then, and I don't mean to like rag on him, but I guess I don't know. I'm just a little surprised to hear you say that. I don't know why.
I just was, yeah. I religiously watched the cartoon. I had
I did too.
The Wrestling Buddy.
Okay. Well, that's all right. That was my next question. So did you have the LJN figures and Remco figures, or did you just have like Wrestling Buddies or?
Well, for the most part, I had some LGNs, definitely Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant at the time. They weren't very, very posable. All you could do is basically like give Andre this flipping double leg drop to the I don't know what the heck these are, the triplexes.
The traps.
Yeah, there we go, the traps. And so, that was the finisher. But my buddy Johnny, this is another big wrestling fan. He basically had the Remco guys. And so I had to get the Road Warriors and Abdullah the Butcher and the Carlos Colon.
Yeah, the 2-packs.
That Abdullah was so awesome because the scars were in there.
Yes.
And my buddy Johnny, we would go all out. Like, he would get Bingo Dauber and daub up his fingers, so he looked all bloody and stuff. Oh, it was terrible. And I always put him in the WWF ring because it was more scaled than the Remco ring.
Right, that Remco ring was pretty tiny.
Yeah, it was.
But it was cool though because you could buy like that whole Battle Royal set. You could get the ring, and it came with like it came with a referee, and it came with like 6 AWA figures or something like that.
I actually seen a referee at a flea market down here, and I didn't really have the money. And I was with Gene, and he's like, "Oh, you want me to buy it? You pay it back." And I'm like, "No," but really, I want to get that figure. I mean, man, and then get Baron von Raschke and put the head on that referee, and then paint them all up, so I can have like a
Oh,
mini Remco figure, you
so
know.
yeah, there was like a couple referees. What do you think? What was that referee going for now? At least at the where you saw it.
Oh, it was like $20, I believe. But I
Oh, okay.
believe on eBay they go for like $48,
Yeah, I was gonna say there's
Depends
like
on the condition.
yeah. Uh, so who was like the champion of your action figure league for the most part? If you
Well, yeah, it was a Hulk Hogan knockoff.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I had two, and I had a Bendy league,
Oh,
and
okay.
that was Killer Klondike, and he's another bootleg, but it's one of those that actually had a backstory with him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah, I had a few of the bendies and I had the bendy ring. Even though I
Right.
didn't
It was like I was a promoter. I only had so much money to put on a wrestling promotion I could play with, and I wanted the stars. So you get the knockoff Hogan and the knockoff Andre and
right.
Jimmy Snuka, and those are going for good money too.
The knockoffs?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, there's like whole pages dedicated to knockoff. I mean, not just wrestling figures, but yeah,
Oh
knockoff. Well,
yeah.
I know you know that because you know, I talk to you more about toys than wrestling nowadays, really. But so yeah, there's yeah, I'm surprised that the knockoffs are go for so much. There's such a market for
Yeah,
those,
it's
but
amazing. I kind of wish there's those kind of markets. Zolo World puts out a lot of action figures. I've been wanting to say, hey man, what? Because he does knockoff, like, and I was like, and they sell, and I was like, man, I should just write them and say, let's do those figures. You got to do those.
yeah. Um, and then
They're
now,
interchangeable, so you can just make your own. They take the arms, the legs, the heads off of those, so
right,
you get a good line going.
right,
Suddenly you got your own Hulk
exactly.
Hogan, the He-Man.
Exactly, and then they got the WWE line of Masters of the Universe figures too that could go right in there. I've only bought a couple of those so far, but
So bye, but I do love them.
yeah. Um, so like you had mentioned, we'll get off toys for a little bit, but you mentioned kind of wrestling around with your friends. Did you actually do any type of backyard wrestling or?
Yeah, depending on what block I was on. Some dudes like to really wrestle, and some dudes, just wanted to put on a show for people.
Okay, so was it semi organized
Nope,
or
not at
just
all. We would get up on top of roofs, and we would wrestle on roofs with plastic tent spikes, and gimmicks like we're gonna throw each other off, but nothing, just for something to do.
right? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
What was your wrestling name back then?
I think it was rock and roll Randy,
Perfect.
because I love the honky tonk man.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, you can't deny. Yeah, I mean, besides, although I was watching something the other day, and it is so weird seeing him as a babyface because they tried to like give him that big push, that babyface push
Yeah, at the beginning
uh,
with Hulk Hogan,
originally.
give him the introduction and all.
Yeah, and it's not even like he had. It's not even like the crowd hated him. They just didn't care at all. It was like he would come out and
Yeah.
the crowd was just silent. And then they did that whole thing with the what was it? The vote of confidence, where people could send in, like Jesse
Oh
Ventura did the
yes,
vote of
yeah,
confidence thing, and then
yes, sir.
that's what ultimately turned him heel because that vote of confidence. And then he turned on the fans, but then turned into one of the greatest heels of WWF history.
Oh, I agree. Longest reigning Intercontinental Champion ever.
Yes. Now, so what made you decide to pursue a career in pro wrestling, or I mean, do you not consider it a career, or were you? Let me ask you this: were you originally going to try to be a wrestler, or were you right off the bat this
Oh
going
no.
going to be a referee?
No, and that's a great question. My ding dong dad, that's what he thought I was gonna do. Like, I'm looking
Thought
at
you
wrestling magazines. He's like, "Oh, you'll never be that big," and I'm like, "Dude, that's not what I want to do. There's more to the aspect than just this."
yeah.
Uh, so, but stuff like that is what got me through train. You know, just going to those places.
Okay. Like, so where I
Sorry.
oh, no. It's cool. What so like I mean, I knew about maybe like some of the big one. I knew about the Monster Factory when I was a kid in like New Jersey or whatever. And then
Right.
Chris Adams, had his thing that Steve Austin, I think, was like the only guy that ever graduated from there. But how did you find out about like the wrestling schools, the local
Well,
wrestling schools?
just went to a show because basically King Kong Bundy, Tatankas were there. Seen some independent stars, I'd never seen before.
Okay,
Yeah, I was just a fan of wrestling. One of those was Hard Time Gene Austin versus the Death Dealer Tommy Starr.
okay,
And they had a little program there. Excuse me. And
hmm
on the back, they had an ad, "Who wants to be a pro wrestler?" And so that kind of really got the old gears to going, like that there was a school around because, I was just so passionate about it. And so luckily, I mean, within a month of me, like, really thinking, like, well, I can't really run my mouth like I would like to,
yeah,
because I'm my worst critique person. So
right,
but I always kind of focused on the referees. I was a big fan of Joey Morella and growing up. So I really just the wrestling matches I wasn't interested in watching. I really focused on the referee at that point. Anyway, so within about a month, there is another independent show at this inflatable golf course on Center Road in Flint, or it's in Burton. But so I went to that show too, went by myself. And lo and behold, is Gene Austin. I don't know if he took on Tommy Starr there or not, but DBA was there, Scuffling Hillbillies, The Outlaws, Bobby Lee and Woody Lee, and
okay.
maybe Ricky Lee. But
So what promotion was this?
this was because I don't know if it was exactly NWA
Okay,
Great Lakes,
all right,
uh, but or Michigan, because it was like it's what it became though.
okay,
I really, if I had my scrapbook here, I
yeah.
could easily tell you.
I
I
know.
used to keep all the, every show was on,
Mhm.
keep the program.
Okay.
I think they need to have more programs. I know everybody wants to be paperless and stuff, but it's a good souvenir everybody can take home.
Right.
Get it signed.
Exactly. You used to be able to like keep track of who won the matches, and if it had I'm just saying like the inserts with the card on it when you would go to like a WWF show or an NWA
Yes,
show or
absolutely.
or
I had an idea that to do a wrestling coloring book similar to like the Shrine Circus, and on both inside covers you have photos of wrestlers, so then they could get
Yeah.
signature, over the wrestler, and then you got a wrestling, coloring book. You can do like little mazes, the wrestler to the championship belt, whatever.
That is actually a great idea, and I'm surprised that you
Thank
haven't
you.
already implemented that
Yeah, and
somehow.
you can just put in your put in the events that are going on that day. The program insert.
Yeah.
Sell it for $5
Yeah. Yeah. So
easily.
so was Gene Austin your actual trainer as a referee, or did they have other?
Absolutely, him and downtown Bobo Brown.
Okay.
I had to, finally I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. I didn't really have the money, but I had, there was a means, there was a way. And so I just called them up and talked to Bobo. He didn't really have a price. They didn't train the referee yet. So
Yeah.
he had to call me back. I'm sure he probably called Gene and asked Gene how much for a referee.
Right.
So, he called me back and gave me the price, and I got out the money, and that was that. I was working at a club and getting out at 4 a.m.
Right.
My boss thought I was going to join the circus. So, I get out at 4, head to Detroit, meet up with Bobo. We go to pick up Judas Coltrane, and head to these secret locations,
Okay.
down in Ohio where,
Oh, really?
yes, sir. And then, so after training, I have to truck it back on up, I'm the night manager, go and, go run the club again.
So when were you sleeping? Or if at
Well,
all?
yeah, it was, it was one of those things where you want to do something, you got to pay the price.
Right. Paying the dues. Paying your dues.
Yeah.
So was there ever a time where so you just flat out again, you knew you were going to be a referee and that was it. You never said, "Hey, maybe I should be a wrestler," or
Wrestler never crossed my mind. I do a lot of foolish stuff. I was the fool of everybody. We do spots where I jump off the highest thing, and my buddy Red would catch me, or I do the super fly where I land on my knees and hands.
right.
So yeah, but it would have been nice. I'm just not built for that, and I knew that. Why be a mediocre wrestler when I could be a great referee?
Now, and you are a great referee. I will say that.
Thanks.
And anybody that hasn't seen you, hold on, this goes off if I'm not moving around. If anybody that has not seen Randy referee, check him out. It's I think it's kind of a lost art. I mean, really, what you do, I don't really see. I don't want to say because I know the referees do not try to be seen. Is that
Right.
fair?
Right.
Or overshadow the wrestlers
Absolutely.
or the match. Like when I was growing up, and I still liked Tommy Young, but I have a different view of him now. I mean, I thought he was great, and he was great, but I
Right.
think a lot of times he interjected himself a little bit too much
Right.
at times. And you mentioned Joey Morella. What was it about him that made you kind of gravitate towards him?
Because he was a little dude,
Yeah.
and he enforced the rules.
Okay.
And he didn't mind having to get up in people's faces. He wasn't like Earl Hebner that was all, yelling and screaming. I do a lot of that, but I try to make that a gradual process. You would never want to just go out there and just start that. And hopefully, who's ever in the ring with you, heel wise,
Right.
works with that, or if they want to, who knows?
So the last show that we did, we actually had James Beard on, longtime referee from like world class and global, and he was saying the best way to referee is referee it as a shoot. Do you
Right.
try to referee that way?
Oh, absolutely. I first was, I think, not excelled, but I think my strong points were tag team matches
Okay.
and hardcore matches because I'm so animated.
Okay.
And tag team because I'm always doing something. And
Hmm.
so when it's a singles match, you got less to do. And I know, so for me, it was really kind of moving myself in, checking locks,
Yeah.
they're going up and over, I'm going up and over too. I'm
Right.
trying to act like I'm in there doing a job. Like this is what they paid me for.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not gonna I try not to let anybody step on me. Of course they get physical then, you know. I'm out of there, man.
But again, for the most part, I think that's kind of a lost art, though, because a lot of the referees. I mean, I mean, I've seen matches where like the referees just kind of stay in the corner the whole time, barely do anything.
Yes,
Um,
sir. They
and
should at least move. I try to move around because I think of the people watching the show.
yeah,
They don't want to see my behind. They want to see the action. So yeah, I've seen a lot of those referees too. I mean, I don't know. I understand it, I get it, but it makes it. I mean, I think it makes the match too lax. Like
yeah,
this guy's just, what is he doing?
right, right. Now, I just realized. I mean, unless you told me this years ago, which I don't know why I ever would have known this, but somebody had posted on one of the Michigan boards a picture. Actually, one of my old co-hosts, Q Ball, posted on one of the Michigan wrestling boards a picture of you, and it had your name as Randy Johnson. So
Yeah, I don't know.
so you were never Randy Johnson?
Never. Don't
Oh,
even know
okay.
who that is, unless he's talking about my junk.
Well, I was gonna ask you. I was gonna say, did you change it because you didn't want to be confused with the other Randy Johnson, the big unit?
No. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Okay.
No, I had no idea why he put that. Yeah, I just go with the flow sometimes. I'm like, dang, they call me Randy again. It's shifty, or
Right. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But well, actually, when did you start? Because when I met you, and this, I mean, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but when I met you, you had the moniker of Sabretooth, Randy Sabretooth Shilling. So
right.
when did that come along? Did you start using that in the NWA
No,
stuff? Or
the whole NWA thing, the shifty thing, started off from day one in the
oh,
in
it
the
did.
NWA.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay,
And that's kind of how that went on when I did other promotions at the time. It was shifty. It was nothing else. I had a shirt made that said "Shifty Shilling." The S's were dollar signs, and then on the back it said the whole reference show. Just my own shirt. But yeah, but when I went to the NWO, there was a night shift, and this is early NWO, and something shifter. So I was like, man, and I'm not Tim, I ain't never wanted to go in there and step on people's toes. So I just went with
right.
the flow. I wanted to be there. Let's change it up. And at the time, it's funny because I thought it was my Native American horoscope, the cougar. So I'm like, oh, cool. Then I found out it was a wolf later on, which really sucks. That would have been so much better. I could have with a wolf type name. But
Oh, right,
no,
right.
it is. What's that?
Oh no, I just said yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's how that evolved. It was they already had kind of two shifty people in there, so I didn't want to
Oh,
be number three.
oh, okay.
I There was a time I was going to be. I thought of being. What was it? The bald eagle.
Okay.
Just the bald eagle Randy Shilling or something like that. Just because one, I was bald, and I don't know, just the rule thing. But I don't know. These days, I think I'm just gonna go with like the zebra logo and stuff.
Right.
I don't think there's enough of it.
uh, so what were kind of the main promotions that you worked around that time?
Well, mostly it was between what Gene had going on with NWA, Great Lakes, and uh, Dave St. Orange promotion that he had going.
Okay.
I don't remember the name offhand. If I had my scrapbook, I'd be able to tell you.
Okay.
So I was just basically doing that on the weekends when I could. Of course, I still had to manage the club and be a father and a husband and all that. So at that time, I was pretty just strictly with them. I'm not really one to go out and promote myself and try to get booked on other shows.
Okay.
I get in a place and as long as I'm comfortable, I'll come back. But
Yeah.
I appreciate people asking me.
Right.
I wish I could do it more, especially these days. It's been a few months, way too long.
Oh, okay.
So since I've been in the ring, so
Okay.
but it was going good down here.
All right. Well, that's good. So did they ever, like during that era, did they ever try to get you to do anything? Like, were you involved in like maybe the booking or behind the scenes, or did they ever try to make you a manager or any? I know later on we'll talk about that, but at that point, was that ever discussed, or was it just straight up you being a ref?
uh no, it was just basically straight up being a ref, and that was fine with me. uh Tommy Starr was beating me up with his kendo stick quite a bit on the road. Gene talks about stories, and ideas. He's like, oh, maybe we could do somehow get you involved. So it's you against Tommy at some point, and uh, I don't know about that. I don't think I would have wanted that.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? At that time, I was kind of willing to do anything, and the whole Tommy Starr, just getting my butt kicked with the kendo stick, and that was those are actually pretty good times.
So about how many years did you referee for the NWA and the other? Was it strictly Michigan, or was it
We were
some of the other?
Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. We went as far down and showcased our match down in Nashville, Tennessee, at I believe
Oh,
the
wow.
52nd annual NWA show down there.
Okay.
I believe that's the one, and I think I'm the first referee to referee a hardcore match at the anniversary show. I'm not sure
Really?
yet, but I believe because, yeah, when I was there was just talk about the NWA frowning on hardcore,
Yeah.
a lot of traditionalists.
Right.
So, if you want to talk about that, the match, that whole card is like was a turning point in my life. It was like one of the happiest times and the worst days happened at that show.
Do you care to elaborate?
Yeah.
Why would that be the worst?
Well, I was coming down there. It was me, Gene, of course. It was the Chunkendales, and George Brimstone riding down in one of the Chunkendales minivans, I believe it was, or maybe it might have been Gene's. And then we had two others with us. They got down here separately, I believe. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Anyway, so it was a good trip down there. I came down there to referee our guys. It was Amazing Nate Matson versus Rico Rodriguez for the NWA, and I think it was junior heavyweight or the cruiserweight, whatever it was, belt. It was a long time ago.
Right.
And so I went down there, and we had already worked quite a few matches because the more you're in there with fellas, the more you know where to go in the ring. They're gonna do this, so I better get over here.
Right.
You get more comfortable when you work with people more, and I think you're able to do more at those points. So I went down there, and we got to go day one. Mike Rapata was the NWA heavyweight champion, and I had a replica NWA belt at the time. I got signed by him, the Colorado Kid.
Okay.
And so we watched the show. AJ Styles was on it. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he opened up for me. And
awesome.
And so, it was on the night too. We done our thing with Amazing Nate and Rico. I couldn't tell you who won, but an awesome match. And I went in the back room like, job well done. And suddenly here's Gene. He comes in. He's like, each referee has to do 2 matches. And so I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, since you did so much hardcore, we're going to put you in the hardcore match. All right. So, I was doing a lot of hardcore matches up there. So I kind of knew how to, for Pete's sake, don't do that. Or, come on, think again.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like the Jiminy Cricket in there,
Right.
So the match was horrible.
Oh.
Terrible.
Okay.
They botched the finish, and I thought I hesitated on 3.
Okay.
So I went home very disappointed. Like that's how I finished the show.
Okay, but like you said, we are
but here's the thing.
Okay.
Weeks later, Dave DuPont sends me a message and says, "Hey man, have you looked at this so I believe it's Spotlight." And somebody there had reviewed both days, reviewed matches. And when I came to the hardcore match, said the best thing in that match was the referee who sold the match better than the wrestlers. And
awesome.
That made it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
It really did.
Because you mentioned it earlier. We are always our own worst critics. No,
yes, sir.
Most people. So yeah, but that's good. That's cool that you got that validation.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, it's like one of those crowning, somebody pay attention to me, first of all.
Well, yeah.
And and just, saying, what I could do and giving me a shout out. I appreciated it.
So about what year was this?
This had to be 2000.
Okay. The reason I ask is because could you give us kind of a what was the state of the NWA at that point? It seemed like after they, years and years before when NWA became WCW and they changed that all around, it seemed like NWA was kind of a confusing mess, sort of.
Yes, absolutely was. I didn't know they were kind of broken off into territories like that. I had no idea. It did seem like it was scattered. What the anniversary show was doing, at least at the one I was at, was having all the territories come in, showcase the match.
Okay.
There was a board, trying to unify it.
All right. Um, so you mentioned those two promotions. Was there any other promotions that
Not
you worked for?
really. Sometimes I would go up and I did a show for Manny up in Bay City, Saginaw area. I did a couple shows with him. I don't know if Dan Severin. I know he ran one of them, and because it was honor meeting Dan Severin. He's the guy that paid me at the end of the night.
Oh,
So I didn't know what was going on as far as pay or who I went and seen. So,
all right.
but he made sure and come up to me and paid me. But that was basically it. I basically had found out that I had diabetes at that time.
Okay.
I was trying to take weight gain. I don't know if that perpetuated it. You know, I throw everything in there, man.
Right.
But
Yeah, you don't know.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then lo and behold, here diabetes hits. My wife at the time was on her second child. I'm thinking I'm dying in the next couple of years, you know, any little nick and,
Yeah.
you know, because I went through scraps, you know, just barbed wire cuts on arms,
Yeah.
you know, you do your thing. And, uh, you know, I was a whole afraid of infection, got to get an amputate, you know, I was really scared.
Yeah.
And like I said, it just drops in my lap. So I've been hearing about these guys running the show in Forest Township, Hall in Otisville, which is, I grew up for a few years out there. Yeah. And so it was right down the street from where I was living. Well, not right down the highway, I guess, from
Mhm.
Davison, Michigan, where I had moved to.
Mhm.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna check him out. I knew a guy that was there called Torment, and
Very familiar with Torment. I
right,
teamed with them at one point.
yeah, he was my in.
Okay. Uh,
so, so yeah, Torment had got a meeting with Jason Klaus, and I came in and did the show. Well, I came in to see if I could do the show. You know, Levi Blue was there too, another guy that was working the independent,
yeah.
and me. And so we just came at the same day.
Oh,
Like
really?
I'm thinking, oh man, this is the wrong day to come because he didn't work with independent, you know.
Yeah.
He kind of built his own thing going. So
Yeah.
but it was close, and I see the potential in these guys, and just I know I was only out there for a few years, but I soaked in, you know, as much knowledge as I could,
Mhm.
and I think I could have helped with the product.
Okay. Um,
So
I
so
mean,
yeah.
you're saying you did help with the product. Is that what you're saying? Or you think you could have
Oh,
helped more?
no, I think at the time I thought I could help with the product. Later on, yeah, I helped out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But so it was the long stilt in the not long, I loved it, in the MWO, for a couple factors, focusing on my family. You know, her second pregnancy wasn't going so hot, my diabetes, I think I'm dying, but I want to pass on at least in the ring, and show my training to these young kids and helping them out, you know.
Yeah.
uh
Um,
so
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Well, I mean, I was gonna mention that when I first saw you, uh, that was in the MWO, and it was kind of the same thing with me. I mean, I had been involved in other things, but you know, I kind of had my pulse. Yeah, or I still kind of had my finger on the pulse of sort of the local scene. You know, I had done a few shows and you know, radio and some other stuff. And then I had never really heard of the MWO, but I had moved up to that area, and then they were coming to Hadley, which I believe is where they started, for like a 4th of July
right.
parade, and so like
It was Western Days in Otisville. They would do those shows.
Okay, but they were coming. But when I first came across them, they were actually coming to Hadley Days
Yes.
and wrestling there. And so, but I did go up to, and I think so. I didn't know who was actually in charge. I mean, I kind of stalked the at the time MySpace pages. I've mentioned that before, and I thought, I mean, I knew Jason Klaus was a big deal in there, but I still thought that Tony Black was, and rest in peace, Tony Black. But
Yes, sir.
I thought that he was kind of the maybe a co-promoter or something. So I had contacted Tony anyway.
Right.
And
You know,
so
and a lot of that goes on when I was commissioner of the MWO. When I did that stilt, you can't imagine how many
people,
MySpace friend requests I had gotten. You
yeah,
know, thinking that I'm part owner or something.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of hard to decipher like who was who, but anyway, so he had me go to some of the Terry's Lounge. He wanted me to go to one of the Terry's Lounge shows and talk to Jason. And I believe the first show that I was on, you were a manager called the Jersey Devil,
That's
and
correct.
you
Yeah.
had just unmasked. So how did that all come about? The Jersey Devil thing.
I don't. I can't remember. I wanted to do something with skulls. I love the character, of course, and I forgot how Jason probably pitched something to me, and I'm a big cryptozoology fan,
Yeah.
and
You and me both.
so right, so I wanted to do a homage to a character, have type of a southern reverend type voice to
Yeah.
talk about the
I thought it
the
was.
second coming of skulls.
I thought
You
it.
know, I throw a little Mr. Haney in there, and
I thought it was fantastic, and I got to say, I was very disappointed that you dropped that gimmick the very first show that I was at because my gimmick at the time, and here's breaking kayfabe. I don't think I've ever talked about this before. My gimmick at the time was supposed to be a werewolf gimmick, kind of a pseudo werewolf gimmick named or called Hellhound,
okay.
and I was thinking that it would have been perfect for
Oh yeah,
you
what
to
a
manage
bad.
me. And at the time, I was trying to get Brace Beamer to be a character called Spring Heeled Jack, even though he didn't want to
Oh,
do it.
awesome.
But
I always had I always had an idea for a guy because I really wanted to do like a big Michigan-based promotion that had Michigan gimmicks, and one of them was the Frankenmuth Monster. You
that
know,
would
and
have been great.
his finisher is the Zender Bender.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
Now,
it would have.
okay, now with these great ideas that I know that you have and you're constantly coming out with, did you get involved? Did no, I you do.
Yeah,
Did
they go nowhere.
were-
If I had a nickel for every idea.
But did you? I mean, were you able to throw ideas out behind the scenes
Oh,
to the
absolutely. I
guys?
come up with first one with MWO, and I don't even remember how I got to that point where now Jason's asking me names. Because I'll just throw stuff off, I'll think of something. But that was the triad. That was my claim to fame at the time. That's way before the Terry Lounge days.
Okay.
And because they wanted them like the Four Horsemen, but there was three of them. I thought, no, wait, not the trifecta.
Okay.
And because that's the one, the two, the three. The winners.
Exactly.
What why hasn't it been used yet? So definitely the trifecta, man. At that point, again, I've come up with some stuff down here, but sometimes I think my ideas are just too off the wall and loony.
You know what? I mean, there's no possible way with all the stuff that has happened in pro wrestling in the last 20 years that your ideas could be that loony.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. But not. They had a committee there at the MWO. I was on that for a little while behind the scenes. Not really putting matches together, but just going over the show in general.
Okay.
You know, my
So
input. Did commentary, ring announcing.
I was gonna mention that too, because the very first show that we did at ONTV, it was like the old studio, and you and Tony Black did the commentary on it.
Right.
And I think you guys might have only done, because I think we taped 2 shows, that 2 hour long shows that day, and I believe that was the only time during that run, that initial run of TV that we did with them, that I think that was the only time that you two teamed up on commentary. As far
Yes,
as
it
that
was. There was just a few seconds with DJ Cashmere, but I guess Baxter didn't like it, or I don't know what's going on. So he rips me off commentary and has me go ringing out.
Okay.
I was actually looking pretty rough with my diabetes, trying to manage that.
Oh.
A failing marriage. Running a club.
Oh, right.
So it was starting to get very taxing on me. So and actually, to be honest with you, being in front of the camera wasn't like what I wanted to do. But I did also, dude, I love the business. I wanted to do it, and I wrestled a little bit.
Okay.
They had me.
That was probably before I had come across it, but
yeah, because or this was the whole power trip thing.
I believe they restarted the power trip.
Oh, gotcha.
When I was there, I didn't see the initial. Yeah, I didn't see the initial run.
Not the originals. No, that was a good run because I played the heel ref and I really loved doing that. That was another. I wish I could go back and do that again, type of things. So I did the healed ref, which of course instigating the Danny Davis thing. I'm gonna go in there and just take a stomping, which I did. But along the way it was great. These guys are getting all beat up. I forget how I get unconscious, and then suddenly, I'm on top of the champ for the 1, 2, 3 and the 6-man #1 contender.
Oh, okay. So you were wrestling as yourself.
Oh, as myself.
It wasn't like a
Shilling,
Mr.
yes.
X Danny Davis type thing where you were doing something under a hood and working double duty.
No. I was way corrupt. Way corrupt.
Oh, okay. I'm disappointed that I missed that, but
Yeah.
so I remember seeing the pictures, but yeah, that part was done.
Oh, everything else isn't the same. Yeah, you missed the originals.
So I mean, this might be kind of a tough question for you, but is there any matches that stick out for you that you were involved in at the time that were like maybe some of your favorites in the MWO era?
The MWO era, and another reason, they were like doing shows constantly. Terry's Lounge was a character in itself. And that venue.
Oh man, what a great venue that was. I mean, so
absolutely
fantastic.
To me, it was like the Lucha Underground as Mayan Hall they got or whatever, because the building had character. We could play off stuff, and they had a drink or two in them, which made it great. There wasn't too many venues at that point that I had worked at where alcohol was being served. So,
right.
Everything I'm going to do might actually turn out okay. So, but everybody asked me, oh, remember this finish or remember that? A lot of times it's just a blur because I'm too focused on making sure I'm doing my job and getting this right. Like I said, I don't like failing, especially in front of people. I'm kind of like, I'm not that outgoing, or I'm not going to come to a place and erupt. So I just want to, I just want to go out there and, do the thing.
I understand what you mean because I still like think that I want to do stuff, and then I'll be like, hey, I'll do this, and then I'm like, man, I wish I wouldn't have did this because now I got to go out in front of everybody and do it. I mean,
Hey,
it's rare nowadays, but yeah, it's like in my mind, I still want to. I think that I want to go do it, but then when it comes down to it, I'll get myself involved in a situation, and then I'll be like, man, I'm just like, I don't know. I guess it would be anxiety, but it all stems from me not wanting to screw up in front of everybody, in front of people.
right.
But yeah, and my
Favorite
body,
match?
my body definitely can't do what it used to be able to do.
Oh, me neither. But I have figured out that I can do a little bit more than other people. So
Well,
I'm just trying to stay limber.
I will say this. I mean, what we will get to this in a minute, but the matches that I've seen you down there, it doesn't look like you missed a beat to me.
Thank you.
I,
Thank
I'm
you,
being
man.
I'm being dead serious.
Thank you. You're not the only person that said that. It means a lot because I'm feeling it in there, But to me, there's sometimes like, man, I got to get up again, but you just dig down and you do it.
Yeah. Uh,
Right.
so about how many years did you work for the MWO, and what led to your departure from there?
Wow, I couldn't even tell you when I actually left. For the longest time, I think they had me still on their website as their commissioner.
Okay.
I had no acting role. Family was getting big, and at that time, going through very big marital problems. It was just about the time for my divorce, and so
I've been through two, so I know how that goes.
right. So it's just taxing emotionally. You don't really want to be out in front of people. It really takes a professional to go through, like a funeral, divorce, and then go out there and try to entertain and put on the best performance they absolutely can.
Right. Yeah. So before we get off the MWO, I will say that.
Well, one match I wanted to say
Oh, okay.
that sticks out above all others was at the Forest Township Hall, which is another place, another venue, had a lot of character to it.
I think I was
So,
there a couple times. Yeah.
yeah, there was a ladder match between Jason the Bastard Klaus and Michael Reaver that I think it was actually their second go at it, and I got to referee it. Most of the matches, because these guys were considered outlaw wrestling,
Yes.
but in actuality, they had very little hardcore matches or any gimmick matches like that. These guys were trying to put on real wrestling,
I agree.
matches.
I agree. I
Uh,
mean, there's a stigma that is stuck to them still to this day for some
yeah,
reason, and that I don't
it's
think
crazy.
they don't
And
deserve
then
it.
I think, maybe it's because they didn't have the money to put into, how it looked by putting canvases up or a tarp up. But then you go to independent shows and they're doing the exact darn thing. So
Yeah, 100%.
I do know that, yeah, at the beginning there should have been a little more training. And I'm glad, that's where Levi Blue came in and really helped us out there.
Yes. Yeah. So what I was gonna say though was they they do an awards show every year, and
Right.
at some point, I don't know if they had a referee of the year award, or if the initial one was the one named after you. Was that, did they have a referee of the year award, or was when they
I
when
don't know. I think they did.
but they
I'm
just
not sure.
but now it is named after you, and it's been
Yeah,
like that
yes,
for
sir.
quite a few years now.
Right, right.
Okay.
It's very humbling. I always get up there and when I'm able to present it. Uh,
Yeah.
it's always very humbling. I always get teary eyed because it's just it's my lifelong championship belt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool thing. Um, and like I said, a lot of the guys that they have now have probably never even seen you referee a match. But
No, my last stint in the MWO, before I actually came down here in Mississippi, I think that was a kind of a different time too. It was a different MWO.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely gone through a lot of changes over the years. I mean, nothing, not taking anything away from them because I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely
I
not.
think
I
they're in a
wish I
very good
was.
spot right now, really.
Yes,
But
I wish I was still up there refereeing for him.
so between the MWO and your move to Mississippi, were you doing any work as far as pro wrestling in between that time?
No, basically, I was just trying to survive. Mad Dog. Uh, I was having blackouts behind the wheel. I think my diabetes was really bad. Um, I lost my job at the club after 25 years, having these blackouts. My unemployment was up. You know,
Right.
I was raising three of my children by myself at that time,
Okay.
and so I was just basically focused on survival.
Right.
And then that's when started watching some MWO shows. I think we sat down and watched one together,
Uh, y-
and
yes. Yes, we did.
yeah,
Uh,
they did a benefit for me about a year before that, uh, or no, that Christmas, dude, I was down on my luck. I wasn't going to be able to get my kids anything. These fellas, came through, put on a benefit show for me, and
uh,
really made my kids this Christmas.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I remember that now that you mention it. I think I don't know if I was at the show, but
I
yeah,
thought I saw you.
I was probably there. Yeah. Either way though, I know that something happened there. So
Right, right. Yeah, so it was back just wrestling, just with the MWO. I wanted to just try it out. I love Jason Klaus like a brother, and he had no problems giving me a shot back. Even though and just like everybody, he made me start off lower card, at the bottom, and I respect that. Also, I didn't come in there like all hoity-toity, like, hey man, who the hell you think you are? I got 20 years experience. I actually went in there as incognito as I could until John Campbell blew my cover. I just found some stuff off, but because
okay.
you get to know people better, and
Right.
I feel that people shouldn't talk to me who who they think I am,
Hmm.
but to get to know me of who I am.
Right.
So it was just different. It was, and again, very humbling because I like to do those sort of things. It kind of keeps me in check. And in my mind, I was starting back over again.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm glad that Jason, did what he did. And I'm dude, enjoyed working with some of the talent on that I had the opportunity to work with. Bam Bam Grizzly,
Yeah.
DJ Edwards, that Cruz guy. I know his real name. I don't want to blow it.
But
Art
yeah,
Miller.
Roberto Cruz. Yeah.
That's the son of a gun. Um, but I really like working with those guys. Man, I hate to DJ Edwards' partner, I Loco something, the white guy, the crazy white guy.
Is it isn't
I
it
hate
isn't it
working.
just Loco or is it deep?
It might be just Loco. I was
Okay.
like, man, is there something else I'm missing here? But yes, absolutely Loco. So I work with mostly those guys, and who put on heck of matches. Matter of fact, I forget who DJ and Loco were going up against, and it might have been somebody else on their side. It might have been a 6-man, and when there was all said and done, they're like, this guy kept up with us, you know. And
Yeah.
so it made me feel that I'm getting on the right track, you know, especially in the 6-man, and as crazy as those get. So, you know, it's stuff that like that makes me feel good. You know, I always
So
make sure.
so that comeback that you had, how long did that last in the MWO?
Maybe
Roughly.
about 6 months. I don't know.
Okay.
It seemed like I was there a few shows, you know, but I was actually right down there doing it at a church. And so I actually live right down the street. I had to get a ride to the show. I didn't have a vehicle. I was afraid to drive.
Yeah.
These blackouts I was having behind
Mhm.
the wheel. So, you know, I was getting rides back and forth. And sometimes people, oh, what time's this show over? I want to get a beer. All right, man. I'll try to get on there as soon as I can. So, you know, it was one of those things. And then, you know, things went sour here, and Jay needed a referee down here in Diamond Championship Wrestling, and you know, he had a room for me,
Okay.
and so that was the deal. I'd come down here and start refereeing for his company. Again, it comes full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh yeah, so like what are some of the differences between Diamond Championship Wrestling and what you've done before, if any?
What are the big differences between wrestling in the North and wrestling in the South?
Great. Yes. What are they?
I would say people down in the South appreciate more for less.
Okay.
People in the North, you got to kind of wham bam them right off the get go. You know, hardcore match, and then how do you top that? You know, it's a progression thing. I think that people down south appreciate what I would call a real wrestling.
Well, I
Or
know what you mean.
wrestling.
Yes.
You know, more than you know, a lot of high spots
Okay.
up north. Not saying that they don't do high spots down here by any means, but they appreciate smaller moves, you know, not so big impact, you know.
Okay.
A lot of things still impress people down here, you know, which
Yeah.
is good.
All right. Yeah, that is good.
Not saying that what these fellas are doing down here is any less impressive by any means.
Yeah.
There's some really good talent down here that really go to the professional level trying to get themselves out here.
Okay.
You
Now,
know,
I noticed that you're wearing a Vladimir Koloff shirt.
that's
Um,
true.
Now it seems like you guys kind of got off on the wrong foot from what I've seen.
Oh
How
yeah.
did that all come about?
Um. Well, I think it was the first time I actually did my first match, uh, which was a battle royal. You know, I looked old, I looked frail. They don't want it, the new referee in the
Okay.
wrestling match. We'll put him, you know, on the outskirts of the battle royal. And sure enough, man, it's like I don't know. It's like having land legs. You know,
Okay.
you gotta have wrestling legs,
Yes.
and even on the outskirts. And so when Vladimir comes around, you know, I know who to sell for. You know, I got a big brute Russian head my way. You know,
Yeah.
I'm backing up. I'm out of this dude's way. I
Right.
stumble over my feet. I don't know if I landed on my buttocks or not, but you know, there I was. And that kind of how it all started. He's also a great heel.
Hmm.
You know, dude in real life is a lot younger than
Oh.
I would have ever expected. And
Okay.
that's the remarkable thing. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, really, really big challenge.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
nobody does.
only because of the little
I
bit that
hope I
I've
didn't break
seen.
any kayfabe. Only because, yeah,
the little
yeah,
the little bit of the matches that I've seen, and just that whole gimmick alone, you wouldn't think that a young guy would want to do,
yeah,
because they kind of
absolutely.
missed that whole era where that was like
Yes, they did.
instant heat if you were
And
a
you know what?
foreigner. I mean, let's face it.
It's over. It's way
Yes,
over down here.
I could
So
tell.
big.
I could
He's
tell.
everywhere.
Okay.
He's one of the next big things that I think is going to come from the Gulf area for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Now,
Even though I hate his guts, oh, he just abide by the rules, man, Doc. We get along all right.
so is he forcing you
Come
to wear
on.
that T-shirt today?
Oh, I just like to do this every once in a while to it.
And
Makes me feel
wipe
good.
your nose on it. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. This
I
is my
understand.
Bowman Round shirt.
Right. Uh, now you did tell me. I mean, not to break kayfabe anymore, but you did tell me that you are involved or were involved with some of the booking down there.
No,
Um,
none of the booking. I come up with a
no.
couple names. Gene
Oh,
still runs a school.
okay. I thought you
Uh,
told me that you were. I'm sorry.
no, no,
Okay.
no. I come up with a couple names.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Okay.
I've designed some championship belts. Well, you drew them out. I didn't. They went to J-Dub belts where they're actually made.
Okay.
Well, the ladies championship belt. I had a referee belt made just for shits and giggles.
That
And
belt's cool. I've seen
thank
it.
you.
I have seen it.
I,
Where
here's the deal. It's my lure. It's a big shiny lure that'll attract people to my gimmick page. Gimmick table.
right. Right.
Right.
J Dubs, where are they located? Because I mean, I've seen a couple of the local promotions use them also. Are
Yes.
they in Michigan?
Yes, they are.
Is it
Yeah,
somebody that
Doug.
you know that does
I've
it?
come to
Or
know them through Facebook. They
okay,
have a
but it wasn't
Facebook
it
page.
wasn't any wrestler on the Michigan scene or anything that decided to get into that or anything like that.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't believe so. He's a big yeah, I don't want to screw this up. Imperial Wrestling.
Entertainment. Yeah, IWE.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Big IWE fan.
Okay. All right.
So I
Um,
think that's how I had heard of him.
okay. All right. Um,
So yeah, I actually got an idea. I'm trying to pitch designing a championship belt for the grocery store that I manage now. So yeah, customer of the employee of the month. They can because everything's on Facebook with pictures. They can have the belt with them. We do a kids coloring contest. They get the winner each month. Get their picture taken with the belt.
fantastic
And
idea.
get your logo out there. People want to come in the store, look at the belt.
Yeah, that's actually a fantastic idea.
Thank you.
Again,
I just
again,
I just
you're
pitched
full
this
of you're
on
full of them, Randy.
I just pitched it at a meeting, like a global supermarket meeting. So
Oh, really?
it was a class. It was a class I had to take. So we had to get in there and kind of
Okay.
tell them,
What
ideas.
was the
So
reception to that idea overall?
there was only one other person in this Zoom meeting, and
Okay.
I couldn't see their face. They couldn't see mine, and I could barely hear them. So I didn't even get to when it came back to go to the moderator or the person around the meeting. They're like, "Okay, Randy, what do you and your group discuss?" So
Oh,
just
okay.
we really like the egg beater idea for people that go on break, and yeah, we really like that one.
Okay. Well, just keep pushing.
That's
Keep
well,
keep
yeah.
keep pushing for
Actually,
that.
I'm just gonna go to the main man because I talked to my boss. I mean, I'm like, look, the logo looks like the face of a championship belt, and you just put, iconic. You got four little, squares, little tiles on the side, and you just put like dairy one and produce one and a shopping cart. I'm telling you, it's gonna work. And you make it gender neutral, put on a white belt. The logo's already gold and white. So, dude, it works. It'll look beautiful.
Exactly. And that could lead into starting to have some of those matches like Booker T and Steve Austin had in the supermarket years and years and years ago.
Oh
That
yeah,
that's
you're
like
absolutely
that's
right.
a totally untapped market there. Nobody
Yes, it is.
cultivated that idea. It was like a one and done deal.
Yeah, it was. The supermarket champion can be real now.
That's right.
Yeah. So I forgot even what I was going to say, but yeah, yeah.
Well, as far as Diamond Championship Wrestling goes, what do they got coming up in the future? Any big shows?
Absolutely, Mad Dog.
All right.
Coming up June 12th, Diamond Championship Wrestling's 4th anniversary show.
All right.
I do know, because you know how these things go. It really, June's a long way away. A lot could happen.
Right.
As you know, what you think could be the match card isn't what's going to make money when it finalizes. I do know for an absolute fact that Hard Time Gene Austin comes out of his retirement
Really?
and takes on MT2 in a fans bring the weapons match.
Awesome. Now, is this Wrestling Tonight exclusive, or has this already been announced?
I don't know, but I do believe, mark my words, take it from Shifty, it could be a Wrestling Talk exclusive.
Awesome.
I talked to Gene today, and no, they know about it. That's happened. It's happened in front of a crowd. I don't know if it's actually been aired. That episode's aired yet on their YouTube channel, which you need to check out. So you can see how this whole feud has escalated to this point.
I'd like to thank Randy Shifty Sabretooth Shilling for being on here. He's another guy that I could talk to all night, but we gotta wrap it up anyway. So everybody, thanks again for watching Wrestling Tonight. Keep checking the Facebook page for future shows, and we will see everyone next time.
Captain Carnage, Dr. Tweed, The Mask, Miss Linda and Adrian Street, the Human Bomb Shelter, Jake the Snake, ask Mad Dog DeCurso if it's real.